Hello again my friends, this is the boy and his dog, and welcome to the channel where I talk about, play, rank and review games on the Arcade old and new. In today's episode we continue our look at the Taito Arcade games with our ranking and review of the Taito Arcade 2 collection. We have another 9 games in this collection and a good mixture of types. I awarded the first Taito Arcade collection my coveted Bad Banger award. Bad stands for boy and his dog, not that the cart was rubbish. In case you lost that point. Will this collection live up to the previous, fall short or fly past? What game fell to the bottom and what rise to the top? Always remember this is just my opinion, and more often than not my favourites don't line up with what are technically superior games. I have weird tastes in it. Besides it's more so I can find out what you prefer. We better get stuck in. Number 9. And in 9th place is Raston. Raston, and if I've pronounced that correctly, is a side-scrolling action game for 1 to 2 alternate players, developed by Taito and released for the arcades in 1987. Now initially I loved the look of this game, the design of the enemies and the level layouts, and then the game really started to piss me off. And then I started to get a little better, and in the end it's okay. I like the different weapon types, the initial sword, the axe with further reach, the flaming sword that shoots projectiles, and more. There are also other items you can pick up which help with defense, attack or health for a limited time. There are some cool little ideas within the levels, like the wall slowly pushing you towards the flaming pit while you pray the rope will swoop back in time and you won't fudge up the jump. All the while surrounded by a swarm of pesky bats, because of course the predicament wasn't predicament-y enough already. In the words of Florence and the Machine, too much is never enough. That song is in Final Fantasy 15, just in case you wondered. Oh, you didn't. The game is a little rough around the edges, but enough effort's been put in to easily look past such things and enjoy it. Number 8. And in 8th place is the Electric Yo-Yo. Electric Yo-Yo is a single screen action game for 1 to 2 alternating players, developed by Taito and released for the arcades in 1982. Okay, a bit of a similar story with the last game. I'll be honest, when I first tried to play this game I thought it was a bit dull. That was before I realised the point was to take the longest point between 2 bits, or sorry, blocks, and this is how you get the score. This was when the game started to get frustrating for me, as I always tried to do it this way, and that makes it significantly trickier. Of course the real trick was to balance this out, with the greatest objective just to avoid the damn enemies for as long as possible. Once I got that idea into my head, I began to enjoy it much more. Then you take into account the sparkly blocks. Collecting them and then passing through the bug-eyed enemies back and forth between blocks will give you score multipliers that will be totaled up at the end of the stages. I think I've got that right. And of course your score can skyrocket. But again, this does add a further complexity to the challenge. Sometimes it's better to try and at least survive into the next stage, if I'm honest. I know people rate this game quite highly. I myself had a very up and down and finally upright with it, and in the end I find it quite enjoyable, just nowhere near as much as even the next game on my list, of which I may have had a bit of a tinsy-wincy addiction to. More on that in a moment. Even though it's at number 8, I don't dislike it one bit. It's great for a blast on the XP when Roguecraft allows. I promised myself I'd give that game a rest, which was obviously a big fat smelly for bet, wasn't it, Stevie? Number 7. And at number 7 is Alpine Ski. Alpine Ski is a sports game for 1 to 2 all-name players, developed by Taito and released for the arcades in 1981. It's pretty basic stuff. The game is comprised of 3 events on a loop, only moving to the next event if you have enough time remaining. The first is downhill event. Avoid the scenery, other skiers and snowplows as you make your way down the hill, trying to collect bonus scores on the way. The higher the score amount, the trickier it is to reach. The most troubling for me, the frozen ponds. That always sends me face first into a tree or rock or some other shenanigans. Whenever you hit something, you will have to start from the closest checkpoint and your time is reduced. You want to do that obviously as often as possible. This is followed by the slalom event, which is the same as the previous one, except this time you have to make your way around coloured flags. If you hit a pole, you will again be deducted time, but won't be reset to a checkpoint. It's tricky as you have less time by ear, but going too fast and it's harder to work out around the flagpoles. And if you somehow get through slalom, you finally have a chance on the ski jump. Doing well here gets you bonus points, so when you have enough time remaining you can start another round of events. I wish I could say I was ever good enough to reach this event. Alas, I was not, but it didn't stop me fully enjoying the simplicity of this game. Sometimes I even make some decent runs. Yeah, the game is very basic, but it's simple and easy to pick up and play, and therefore great for EXP or Pocket, and I did go through a bit of a daily must-have-a-go addiction with it. It has slowed down now, which is probably good so I can play the other games more, as we are running out of time before a further 5 carts get dropped in our lap. More on that tomorrow, eh? Number 6. And in 6th place is, I think I'm pronouncing this right, Kiki Kai Kai? I think that's right, Kiki Kai Kai, yeah? Anyway, Kiki Kai Kai is a top-down action game for 1 to 2 all-name players, developed by Taito and released for the arcades in 1986. Now I will admit, I originally played this like Commando as a straightforward vertical scrolling shooter, but actually it's the melee attack that is so much easier to use. Just spam the button or hold down the auto attack button and run towards the enemy. You'll be surprised how much easier it is, honestly. Some waves will drop pickups which will help you, with your long range attack and making the attack stronger, and more importantly extending the reach of the attack. You want to try and reach the boss without losing a life in these power-ups, as you'll need as much distance between you and the boss when fighting, as they spew out a lot of stuff that can be hard to avoid, whilst also continuing to attack. The bosses do not have a health bar as such, rather they may change visually, like their eyes will close, but the main tell is the middle tiles in the centre of the room, which will dissolve away as you continue to attack. Once all tiles are gone, the boss will be defeated and you can continue. We enjoyed the simple design and fun music, the little bridges and the bizarre long-necked lady that pops up like a snake from the side of a small building. Also there's loads of ghosts, which is always cool. I really started to enjoy this one. The graphics are sweet enough. It's a bit tricky to run around and shoot like Commando, but you get used to it. The added melee attack really changed it up a bit and makes it immensely more manageable and less frustrating. Number 5. And in 5th place is Elevator Action. Elevator Action is an action game for 1 to 2 all-name players, developed by Taito and released for the arcades in 1983. Now this is another game where I appreciate the simplicity of it. Get to the bottom of the tower's 30 floors, picking up all files hidden between red doors. From the start you can make it down a fair few floors before you have to start thinking about using escalators or separate lifts to progress further. Lower floors even have you in the dark, where doors suddenly open from nowhere to reveal enemies. Thankfully they are easy to make out by their silhouettes. Now if you miss a red door by the time you reach the bottom, the game will automatically take you to the furthest up one you are missing. Grab it and make your way down again. It's just simpler to grab them as you go, to be honest. The enemies you face are pretty simple to get past to start with, either by avoiding in the lift or timing shots as you come down. A few cool additions have been added to make this a bit more interesting. You can duck or jump bullets. Duck and shoot is a great way to survive far into the game before they catch you off guard by laying on the mealy damn floor. So you can't shoot them, but you can jump over bullets and thankfully jump on them. You can also jump from lifts to attack. But the coolest feature by far though is to time your shot just as it comes down to the next floor and hit one of the light fixtures. It will momentarily cut off all light, but if an enemy is positioned under the light, it will knock them out and score is higher. Get past all the enemies, grab all the files and reach your car in the basement and you've won the tower. On to the next, and this time they've increased the number of red doors and files you have to grab. I really enjoyed this game. It's fun and easy to pick up, but increases in difficulty the lower you go and the further towers you reach. Number 4. And in 4th place is Volfield? Is it Volfield? I feel like it's Volfield. We'll go with that. It's a single screen action game for 1 to 2 unnamed players, developed by Taito and released for the arcades in 1989. It's one of those games where you draw a line from the edge and when it meets another wall it fills in the gap or strips it away, depending on how you take the visuals of it. I know what I meant. Look, the visuals on screen will hopefully explain it better. The trick is to do it in small increments to avoid getting hit by the enemy. There is definitely a strategy to it. Do you risk going a bit further and taking a bigger portion even though the enemies are gaining on your ass? Or do you keep taking tiny sections at a time? Do you try to separate the enemies or work around them? I unfortunately always take the risks. I find it really hard to just take small sections and nearly always get caught for it, but I can't help myself. But sometimes it's worth the risk. Like 1 in 100. The game also includes some cool additions to spice the game up. There will be square blocks that if you catch in an area will turn to points or maybe a cool power up. After the 3rd stage they will appear and disappear, so make sure they are present when you complete your route or you will lose the power up. I always end up timing it wrong. There will also be a more prominent one with a red centre. This could net you something bigger and may even make a further one appear. This didn't always happen, but when it did and I managed to grab the new block, more often than not it would be an overpowered level ender that will net you such a huge score bonus it's almost obscene. But it feels very random in its appearance, so cannot be relied upon. Some basic power-ups are also great, but are limited time use, except the speed up which seems to last much longer. But lose a life and you lose it all. Another great power is the laser gun, which will easily kill all small enemies on the map. It won't end the bigger buggers of each stage though. I've never tried when they shrink right down, which they seem to do as the level progresses. There's also other ones where you can freeze time and stuff. It's all cool. I just really dug this game. Because of the randomness of power-ups, or if you even time it well enough to grab them, makes each time you play end up quite different. And I kinda dig that too. It's simple and fun, but at times frustrating, I can't lie, but nothing stops me wanting to keep coming back for another try, so I do. Number 3. And in number 3, it's Operation Wolf. Operation Wolf is a first-person on-rails horizontal scrolling shooter for 1 player, developed by Taito and released for the arcades in 1978. It's Operation Wolf, enough said, no notes. But seriously, how can you not love these simple crosshair shoot-em-ups? I love them all. Especially later ones like Space Gun, which I had on the Amiga, and then all the awesome light gun games on the PlayStation by Namco, Time Crisis series, Point Blank, Ghoul Panic, Vampire Nights, and then if you're talking horror, we have the B-movie House of the Dead series and a fair few Resident Evil ones. Some are amazing, some are a little bit shit. They are just simple, enjoyable fun. And this game is no different. You just aim and shoot the bad guys and avoid shooting the good guys. There's also other elements to shoot to yield you more ammo and missiles. Annoyingly, they make me want to shoot animals. The swines. There's not much more to it, but who cares when it's so much fun, eh? And it's especially fun using a mouse, meaning the VS is probably the most enjoyable way to play on the big screen. Though of course, without the mouse, the Alpha is always the way to go with these cards. All the games just feel elevated on it, just right, you know? I wish I had more to say on this game, but all I can come up with is jobs are good.
Since you have no ammunition left, you must join the hostages.
Number 2. And in second place is the New Zealand story, where the New and the Zealand are as one. It's a multi-directional scrolling action platform game for 1 to 2 all-name players, developed by Taito and released for the arcades in 1988. I don't remember the game being so hard and getting so mazy so early on, but there is so much to love here. It may be nostalgia playing a part, but if you're enjoying yourself, you're enjoying yourself. There are so many touches I love. The music, the style, the smoking kiwi in the opening animation, the cool design level, the floating things you can jump on or hang under to move around the stage. One of them's a UFO man, like, hello. Being able to squirt water at the enemies while you're sticking out the top of a pool of water. And then of course there are cool moments like when the whale boss gobbles you up mid-fight and you have to continue attacking from the inside. That did blow me away as a child, and I'm still impressed now. Though there are a few times when you are like, well, what the hell am I supposed to do here? There's one such part when the ledge is too high to jump out of the water, and because of a diagonal row of small spikes, you can't get one of those aerial things through. You have to kind of get behind and push through. The enemies managed to do it for me once, bless them. Unless I'm missing something, which I nearly always am, so forgive me. But yeah, I just love this game. I think it hates me, but I don't care. I love it anyway. And that is what you call an abusive relationship. It's only bloody number 1. And in first place is Liquid Kids. Liquid Kids is a side-scrolling action platform game for 1 to 2 all-name players, developed by Taito and released for the arcades in 1990. This game was a complete surprise to me. Well, not a surprise to me when I got the cart, but when I got the Pocket. But I really got into on the Alpha and the VS. It holds so many of the elements I love dearly in Taito releases. The biggest part being the water bubbles, but using them as your primary weapon and tool in a horizontal scrolling world. It's colourful with a design similar to the 3 games I won't keep going on about, but you know what I'm talking about, don't you? There's just so many neat touches to this game, using the water to turn wheels and grow plants, holding down the attack button to make your attack huge and more powerful. But the best part for me were the bosses. I just loved the design of them and the different ways you had to dispatch them. Each one I came to was interesting in its own right. My favourite being the one that moved left to right, so you have to change the floor you're on to avoid certain attacks and to attack certain parts. Using the raised parts of a platform to bounce your water bubbles all the way across the screen to attack them. Great thought out stuff, I thought. Yeah, there's a lot of thought going on there. But yeah, the game gets increasingly difficult. Some platform sections are downright evil, or you feel you've reached a dead end until you realise you've got to grow a door to continue to the next section. I also like when you finish a level you get a choice of 2 doors. I've been through it a couple of times, so I'm not sure the massive amount of differences that done. I just think it's cool. The different locations you can reach on a core draw map all feel quite different from each other, both visually and mechanically. Yeah, difficulty be damned, I really have no complaints about this title, so it had to be my number 1. And my overall thoughts on this cart: another Taito Arcade Collection, another 9 Taito games. Again, we've had a mixture batch of titles. Types: we have platform, shooter, puzzle action, top-down action shooter, and a couple of their older titles. Across the board, there is nothing here I didn't really enjoy, especially after giving it a bit more time. Though I did find Raston very hard to get much progress to begin with, and yeah, the yoga game definitely took a while, but I got there. The biggest surprise, however, is Liquid Kids. I enjoyed it so much it went to number 1 quite quickly. I just find the game so joyous, so colourful, and full of lots of mechanics I love from this era of gaming, and it's the single game I've most come back to when sticking to this cart. And overall, thinking about the cart and how much I've had fun with pretty much all the titles, with number 1 kind of blowing me away, I can't not award it my Bad Banger Award. I really do rate this highly. But which of the 2 carts is my favourite? Well, we'll have to leave that for the end of year cart ranking and rewards video, won't we? And there we have it. Did you buy this collection, or are you thinking of buying it? If you haven't yet, anything here that takes your fancy now? If you have got it, then how would you rank yours? As always, let me know in the comments below. And if you made it here to the end of the episode, thanks ever so much for joining me. Leave a thumbs up, comment if you like. But you know what? I'm just chuffed you poked your head in for a goosey gander. As always, I hope your day is as awesome as you are, my friends. And until next time, be seeing you.